Konnichiwa minasan. O genki desu ka? Welcome to the intermediate course of my channel. Let's learn Japanese with Eric. In this lesson, we learn about the first conditional conjugation, to express if and when subordinate clauses in Japanese. Yoroshii desu ka? Hajimemashou. Lesson 62a offered a brief introduction to Japanese conditionals that are formed to form conditional subordinate clauses that translate in English as if and when clauses. For example, sentences such as, if you add 1 to 4, we get 5. Or when April comes, the cherry blossoms bloom. Now there are 4 ways to form the conditional in Japanese, and this lesson focuses on the first one, to. Now just a short reminder that the subject of subordinate clauses frequently take the subject particle ga, and the main clause subject typically takes the topic particle wa, and that the tense of the verb in the main clause is what determines the tense of the whole sentence, and not the tense of the verb in the to subordinate clause. The to conditional conjugation is used to form main clauses that deal with math, logic, natural phenomena, logical consequences, and also very strong beliefs and opinions which the speaker almost believes to be gospel. And of the 4 conditional conjugations, to is the most restrictive and cannot be used to make other kinds of sentences other than what's enumerated on this list. It can't be used to make volitions, requests, commands, or suggestions, and similar sentences. The to conjugation can be used with verbs, adjectives, nouns, and pronouns. For verbs, we can form sentences, for example, such as, if I go, so on and so forth, or if I don't go, so on and so forth. For adjectives, example, if it's fast, so on and so forth, if it's not fast, so on and so forth. And for nouns or pronouns, for example, if it's me, so on and so forth, or if it's not me, so on and so forth. The to conjugation is the easiest to form. Simply add to the dictionary form of a verb, adjective, noun, or pronoun. Before we go into sample sentences, let's first learn how to form this conjugation. For verbs, adjectives, nouns, and pronouns, we will learn how to form the affirmative conditional using to, as well as the negative conditional. Let's start with verbs. To form the affirmative, simply take the dictionary form of the verb and add to. For example, the verb taberu, to eat. When you add to, you form taberu to, which means if you eat or when you eat. Now to form the negative, simply take the negative plain non-past or the nai form and add to. So taberu becomes tabenai, and adding to forms tabenai to, which means if you don't eat or when you don't eat. Now whether it's if or when depends on the context of the sentence. To review how to make the nai form, you can review basic verb conjugations in lessons 26 to 30. For e-adjectives, simply take the dictionary form of the adjective or its e form and add to. For example, the adjective atsui, which means hot. Add to and you form atsui to, which means if it's hot or when it's hot. And to form the negative, conjugate atsui to its nai form and you have atsukunai. Then add to form atsukunai to, which means if it's not hot or when it's not hot. To review basic e-adjective conjugation, you can watch lesson 15. Na-adjectives are grammatically nouns, so we lump them together with pronouns and nouns. Now the verb predicate for nouns is the irregular verb da, and da is what we use in their conjugations. So for example, the na adjective shizukana, which means quiet. Drop the na and replace with da, shizukada, and then add to form shizuka dato. It means if it's quiet or when it's quiet. Then the negative of shizuka na is shizuka dewanai or shizuka janai. Then to this, add to form shizuka janai to, which means if it's not quiet or when it's not quiet. You can review basic na adjective conjugation in lesson 16. For a pronoun example, let's use watashi or I. To it, add the verb da, watashi da, then to form watashi dato, which means if it is me or when it is me. Negative is watashi dewanai or watashi janai. Then to this, add to form watashi janai to, meaning if it isn't me or when it's not me. For a noun example, let's use the noun hon or book. Same thing, add to it the verb da, honda, and then to form hon dato, which means if it is a book or when it is a book. Negative is hon dewanai or hon janai. Then to this, add to form hon janai to. It means if it isn't a book or when it isn't a book. Let's look at our sample sentences. This one is a math sentence. If you add 1 to 1, it becomes 2. In other words, 1 plus 1 equals 2. And in Japanese, you'd use a to conjugation for this. And you'd say, ichi o ichi ni tasu to ni ni narimasu. Ichi o ichi ni tasu to ni ni narimasu. You'd hear the to conjugation used a lot in math sentences. This one is an example of logic. If you take the medicine, the pain will disappear. In Japanese, この薬を飲むと痛みがなくなります。この薬を飲むと痛みがなくなります。It literally means that if you drink the medicine, the pain will disappear. This is an example of natural phenomena. When it becomes spring, the cherry blossoms bloom. And in Japanese, 春になると桜が咲きます。春になると桜が咲きます。This one is on a logical consequence. If you don't feed pets, they unfortunately die. In Japanese, ペットは餌をやらないと死んでしまう。ペットは餌をやらないと死んでしまう。The teshimao conjugation expresses regret, and you can review this in lesson 42. Another logical consequence, if I don't work, I can't eat. In Japanese, 仕事しないと食べられない。仕事しないと食べられない。食べられない is a shortcut ability conjugation of 食べる, and it means cannot eat. You can review the ability conjugation in lesson 57. Sentences that express strong beliefs and opinions can also use the to conjugation. They don't necessarily have to be true, but the speaker believes them to be true and to be logical consequences that he or she uses the to construction. If you do this, then this logically results. For example, many Japanese believe that if you don't go to the temple on New Year's Day, you won't have good luck for the rest of the year. In Japanese, お正月に神社に行かないと残りの年は幸運がありません。お正月に神社に行かないと残りの年は幸運がありません。Now this may not necessarily be true, but as part of Japanese culture, many people visit a shrine or temple on New Year's Day, so that the rest of the year would be full of blessings. Now, the to conjugation has the most restrictions of the 4 conditionals. To cannot be used to express volition or I will do sentences. No requests, no commands, no suggestions, and to can't be used to make invitations. If you want to form any of these kinds of sentences, you need to use one of the other three, the tara, ba, or nara conjugations. So to summarize, the to conjugation is used to make conditional if/when sentences that express math, logic, natural phenomena, logical consequences, as well as strong beliefs and opinions. To cannot be used to express volition, request, command, suggestion, invitation, or similar sentences. For these kinds of sentences, one of the other three conditionals must be used. So this ends our lesson on the to conjugation. I'll see you in the next one, the tara conjugation. じゃあ、また会いましょう. If you're serious about becoming fluent in Japanese, it's important to practice daily, learn grammar, and build up vocabulary. My whole course is designed to give you a strong basic foundation in the Japanese language that you can build solidly upon. So please click like, share, or subscribe and watch the next video in the series. 日本語の勉強に頑張ってください。じゃあ、またね。